Okay, we are live again. I have them up and running, and I'm gonna try to do this one-handed because I was not able to find my stand or a place to put the stand on. So right now I'm just kind of putting it on there, and I usually will use my hand for most of this, so I think we're at a place where I can. Sometimes I will gotta get enough of it on there to start smoothing it out. So that's why I like to drizzle it on first. Once you have enough on, it's so much easier to just smear on, so to speak. It's kind of fun. I'm trying to get some of these areas that I haven't. Now it's a little thicker than typically epoxy would be because two things. Well, three things, excuse me. So I mixed it up. It was clear, right? And then I added acrylic paint. If you add too much acrylic paint, it will be goppy and disgusting and it won't work right, okay? And I will need to hit this with a heat gun or with a hair dryer or something of that sort, okay, to make it really super, super smooth. The other thing is I added a little bit of glitter just for some cute, like iridescence, so to speak. And then the third thing is that I waited quite a bit of time in between mixing and doing all of that. So it's been nearly 30 minutes. So it can be quite thin if you mix right away. But if you don't mix right away, it can get quite thick. So every tumbler is a new experience. Videotaping is a new experience, right? So kind of smoothing it on the bottom here. So right now it looks kind of messy, but I have to say most crafts that I do, maybe it's just me, they look messy and then they get much neater in time, okay? Kind of looks cool in a way. So there's some bubbles that came up, so when you hit it with a hair dryer or a heat gun, those will go away as well. Don't forget to get your bottoms if you're doing a bottom. So, you know, as the first video I'm kind of showing you, it's probably not the most ideal because this one I really played with, but it gives you a good experience in seeing what happens if you wait too long. And this kind of stickiness that you see, that will also make it harder to apply and give you these strings that you see, okay? Because you don't typically get those. So I'm going to leave that one for now, and then I'm going to move on to my other cup, okay? So if it's thin enough and you have two hands, one to pour, one to, and I'm going to try to give it a little pour here. Since it's a little thicker, I might be able to pour it and it not drip off the other side. Okay. Didn't drip too bad. So that's a little bit easier if you're able to drip it on and then smooth it as you go, which is not the part you're seeing. All right, so I'm going to drop that down. This is the one-handed method. Not really advisable for somebody that's new, and I still consider myself pretty new. I've done this for quite some time, but if you didn't see part one, I did tape this in part one. This one's going to be difficult, huh? I taped this in part one. I showed you what materials you need in part one. And I'm actually going to stop it for 1 second from spinning because it doesn't want me to take something that's this thick and have it spin. So I'm gonna just stop it from spinning for a second and go from there. So this is getting very, very thick. So I will, to have a smooth finish, I will have to get it to the point where it's much thinner to have a smooth finish. Although some of the most interesting cups that I've made and I've learned the most on are ones that didn't necessarily start the way I expected, but they often can still be saved or turned into maybe a different cup than you anticipated. Okay, so I'm just kind of smoothing it on here. Again, this is much thicker than you would have unless you let your epoxy sit a really long time if I hadn't added the acrylic paint and the glitter that I added. Okay. And I will show in this video what I added, but if you want to check out the other parts of it, you know, look at maybe some of the other videos that I've made, as well as the part 1 in case I miss any of the items for prep for this. Okay. So, yeah, this would never cure smooth like typically like glass. You like that glass look of those two, right? That one's not epoxy yet, but you wouldn't get that unless you hit this with a heat gun. This one spun, it was put on a little bit sooner. It's got a bubble right there. Looks like a line from what I was doing, but you know, kind of play with it. I've seen some beach cups. That's on my list of cups to do. But just from spinning, this one is a little bit smoother and putting it on a little earlier. Okay, so I am going to see what I can do about just setting that here for a second and use my other hand. See if I have any more of this I can pop out of here without getting much more messy. I used to always wear 2 gloves. Typically I don't now, but I should, especially if I'm doing something this new and different, because I'm kind of potentially touching some of the epoxy, and you shouldn't ever do that. I know, I am. So I think most of the bubbles are out. The heat will help the bubbles too, okay? So I'm going to set this down and make sure you can see one of these cups. Okay, I'm gonna take off my glove and grab my hair dryer. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So this is what they're kind of looking like right now. Okay. So you can get a better perspective of what we see now and what we'll see after the fact. And then here's this one. To give you a better perspective of this one. Okay. So I'll be quite honest, like I am. I have not figured out how to turn the volume off or on for any of these different things, so I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna have the hair dryer on, and it's gonna be loud for a couple minutes, okay? And then I will explain what I did once I turn the hair dryer off, okay? And I might point at a couple things and then I'll explain what it was. All right. So give me 1 second while I plug in my hairdryer. Really need a stand. Got to work on that. Having it handy and stuff. So first I'm going to turn on the hairdryer and I'm going to make it just hot, not on anything. And then I'm going to put it onto the cups. And hopefully Bella doesn't start barking because she doesn't really care for, see how it popped those? So I'm going to stop for 1 second and just show you that it popped almost all the bubbles. And what I can do now is take a gloved hand and smooth this out. It will also smooth out just from the sheer spinning. So you'll see it become more and more smooth as it heated up and then as it cools down. I have glitter on the front of my screen and I'm trying to get it off, but it didn't work. So now my screen thinks I'm trying to focus. All right, so I'm gonna hit the bottom of this tall cup one more time, and then I'm gonna come over here to my short stack tumbler and hit that with the heat. I think I got all of the bubbles out, and I have to tell you, so when you buy something from Kristen, Custom Creations by Kristen, just so you know, I'm gonna try to get off the extra glitter, but sometimes extra glitter is a bonus. So, but I am loving the swirling. I almost don't want to turn these into baseball cups, leave the swirling and add to it. I am seriously considering that, and just buying white cups for the other parts. So I will post a video once I figure out what I'm going to do with these, because if you look at especially this one, the swirling, I don't know if it's coming through as nicely on video it is in person, but it's really pretty. Sometimes with crafting, it appears that time and again, I find out that you just don't know how something's going to come out until you do it. And it's trial and error, and I really like it. But tell me what you think. Send me some comments. Let me know what you might want to see for different options of tumblers. I'd be happy to make something in particular, give it a try, mess it up, whatever, if anybody is interested in seeing a particular type of tumbler. Thinking about a snowflake one in the winter, thinking about sunflowers for spring and summer. Definitely, thinking up some different ideas, trying things out. I like that. That's the part that I like. I like the creating and the parts where you can just kind of mess it up and it is what it is. So, all right. Well, I have a Facebook page, Custom Creations by Kristen. I have a website, also customcreationsbykristen.com. And that's if you see that butterfly with the swirls, that's my logo, so then you know you're in the right places. Take custom orders. You can also buy off of Facebook websites that website that you see. And if you can like and subscribe and give me your ideas, I would love it. And I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers so I can go live right on YouTube, which would be totally awesome. All right. If you can't tell, I'm an 80s girl, right? Saying totally awesome. I hope everybody has a great day, and let me know if there's anything that you want to see in particular. Bye.